before hitting the record button, we have been on this for a minute because the plan was originally let's do a podcast because I've been podcasting for a few years anyway. And we had already said we were going to connect and we were going to get it done. And there was a plan to do it at the gym. The lock-in, that would have been cool. But we are back in the podcast studio. And thanks to my great friend Paul, he's provided us this beautiful fucking place to jam for the next couple of hours and talk about your story. We didn't need the gym.
We didn't need it. I mean, this is a cool setup.
It's dope here, man. So, what is going on? We are back for another episode of FitStoryTV. I am your host, MATT, and today I have a very special guest for you. There's a very special guest for me too. Someone that has done shit. He has lived it. He has fucking built it, almost lost it. He's rebuilt it. And he's here today purely just because of pure grit, really, consistency, and just having a vision, just keep pushing forward. You told me a little bit about your story. I remember the first time we met, we're going back probably a decade. It's probably longer than that.
Yeah.
Which is fucking mind-blowing.
We're getting old, man.
I remember the first time I saw you as well, because I was working Fitness First. I was working the job at Fitness First. I was a sales consultant. And I was sort of early in my journey of transformation and that, because I've been there a while and, I was training and I wasn't doing drugs every day like I was previously. And I remember I'm sitting in the office and we had a walk-in and it's this guy. And I remember Pete turned around to me and he's like, "Who wants it?" And everybody fucking looked at me as if I was the guy. Like, it's obviously going to be Matt. Send him out. Send Matt out. And then I remember seeing you. I walked up, we fist bumped, and the fucking rest is history, bro. We've been connected for, like I said, over a decade now.
Yeah, long time, man.
It's crazy. So we're going to kick off today's podcast the same we do every time. There's a question. It's the same question, but it's not any question. It is the question. It's the question that unlocks everything, your whole story, Because ultimately, the reason why I started doing this podcast was to share people's stories, people that have been through some shit. They have seen the darkness, They have navigated their way back out to build their life, And that is transformation. When you come from places like I did, like you did, there was a path. God, that's bad feedback, bro. You hear that?
Yeah. That hit us.
I don't know where that's
coming
coming
from though.
Fuck, that was horrible.
My phone's off.
I'm gonna airplane mode my laptop.
I didn't even know you could do that.
It's offline. Fuck it. There's a transformation, right? There's a transformation that takes place, and I think that's why when I looked at doing this podcast, it was about getting people's story, the raw story, because people don't need more strategy now. They don't need more fucking information. If someone is sitting there right now and they are unable to change their life and the path they're traveling down, and they're fucked, because we already have all the information. You could go on Google now and just type in, how to lose weight. Fucking use AI to fucking write you a workout plan. Like there's access, an abundance of access to information, but it's not working. Yeah, it's not working. People are stuck and they're not moving forward. And I've always believed, because it helped me so much, owning my story and then being able to share my story gave me power back from it. So it gave me permission to move on from where I was, from the person I was, from the identity I was. And it helped me. And that's why I want to give back to people through the podcast, by helping other people share their story so people can see that it's not fucking simple. It's not just a straight line to success. There's a zigzagging. There's a lot of shit to navigate in that. And that's ultimately why I wanted to get you here today on the podcast, bro, because, well, I haven't heard your story, but I've heard snippets of it. You've sort of shared a little bit with me about what you've done and what you've been through. So if we start right at the beginning with this question that unlocks the entire journey of everything, because let's face it, you don't just wake up, what, you 200 pound, 210, 220? What are you now?
Something like that.
Fucking shredded.
17 and a bit.
Shredded. You know, you don't wake up like that, thrive in business, you know, live in a clear vision. You just, that's work that goes into that. And that kind of transformation takes a relentless amount of work. It takes deep personal work, and it takes a grinding to build something from the ground up. And there's a lot of people that want results without putting in that effort, without walking in the darkness. They want the light. And, you know, I see too many people just thinking this is easy. Like, it's easy. If I copy what you did, I'll get there. No, that ain't going to work. And that's why so many people don't get results, because they see someone like you, and they see you sharing content, and they see you putting in the work at the gym. They think if they just go to the gym, they're going to get results. It's not, it doesn't work. That's why so many people in the gym don't have results, because there's something deeper going on. There's something deeper happening. And that's the hard work that they need to really fucking do, is the deep work on themselves to get to the point of transformation. I've always said the hardest thing is not the work involved. The work is easy. You know it. Turn up to the gym, eat your fucking macros, train hard, sleep well. Like the things that you do are actually very simple to get results. Yeah. It's not complicated. It's not a fucking crazy science. It's pretty simple. You want to get in shape. You want to be physically in better shape. Do these things. Do them consistently enough, and eventually you're going to get there. It's not the hard part. The hard part is staying the same. It's being the same person that you don't want to be anymore. That's really fucking hard. That's the hardest shit to do, is to stay being the same person. So today, we're going to unpack your journey, bro. And we're going to take a trip back in time. This is my favorite part, by the way, of the whole entire podcast. We're going to step foot in the DeLorean. Alex, my man, you're coming with me. You're coming with us. We're going to get in the DeLorean, and we're going to go back to what is the earliest memory for you. You know, what was your life like growing up? Who were you around? What did you experience that shaped you to be the person that you are today, bro? So let's just kick things off by giving us a bit of detail about, you know, where it all started for you.
That's taking it back.
That's taking it back. You have listened to one of my podcasts before, right?
No, I don't think I have, you know. No, I have. What's
I'm
his
sure
name?
you have.
I think the one with is his name Perry?
Perry?
The one with Perry.
Yeah,
that Perry?
Perry Power, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did like our story, our origin. Yeah. I spoke about my brother murdering someone and all the crazy shit that went down and stuff.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. I heard that one.
So you know it. That's where you're unpacking it from.
So it's like, yeah, I don't know. Where do you want me to start?
First thing you can remember, man. How was life growing up for you, bro?
I grew up in London, northwest London, with my dad and my stepmom. My mum left when I was about 4. They got a divorce, and then I grew up with my dad from there. Life wasn't too bad to me, because obviously you don't know what everyone else is living, so to you it's just life, innit?
Yeah. You don't know what you don't know, innit?
You don't know what you don't know, that's it. So yeah, just grew up like everyone else, went to school. School was pretty good, you know. Wasn't the cleverest kid in school, but we got through it. And then I went to secondary school. I think things started changing for me when I hit, I want to say 12, 13. So yeah, from like year 7, year 8, that's when like life started getting not real, but that's when I started waking up to what was going on and stuff, you know.
You started seeing stuff, because that's how it was for me. Going back to that, you don't know what you don't know. I thought that domestic violence in my house was normal. I thought that my brother beating me up and fucking stringing me against the wall and screaming in my fucking face. I thought it was normal. I thought that happened in other people's houses and stuff. I just didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. It was only when I got to a certain point in my age where, you know, I would, for example, I didn't, not having a nan and granddad didn't really affect me until I saw that other people had them and they were really good relationships. And then I was like, oh, fucking, they have a really close relationship. You know, they're like tight with their fucking mum, or they're tight with their nan. And it was when I started to realise that actually this isn't happening in other houses. This is happening in my fucking house.
Yeah.
There was I think it might have been around the same sort of age, maybe a bit younger for me, where I started to really realise that and conceptualise that fucking some shit's fucked up in my house. But I'm here now.
Yeah, no, definitely, 100%. Yeah, that's true. Cause like I remember, like, you know, when you do something wrong and your parents give you beats and shit like that. But like my next door neighbours on either side of me, I used to both hear them getting beat. So to me, it's like, oh, we all get beat. Like, you do something wrong. Yeah. We all talk about like, oh yeah, my dad used a stick. My dad used a slipper, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So it was that was kind of normal, but it wasn't until I got to like secondary school and because my dad is a Jehovah's Witness. So if anyone knows about that, it's almost like a cult. It's like a Christian, but like on steroids. Hardcore, you know what I mean? Like, you know, they go out on the weekends, they knock the doors trying to sell the magazines and stuff, and so I was from like 12, I was trying to get away from that. So my answer to that was just staying out the house. So I had a girlfriend at the time. I remember we used to stay at the house till late. So I'd be like on the streets till like 10:30, 11 at night. And then I think from there, you start, because my area in London was bad, but it only got bad from like the night time.
Right.
So from like 9 o'clock, that's when everyone comes out. You know what I mean? That's when you start seeing shit and everything goes down. In the daytime, it just looks like a normal area. You know, just normal like London area. Nothing's really going on. But like from 9, that's when things start happening. So
mate, I relate so fucking hard to that, bro. That's fucking crazy. I know exactly what you mean.
Because you don't know what's really going on until it gets dark.
And people could drive through the place in the day, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't have a fucking clue what's going on and what's going down in the, you know. But when you live there, you see it. So, you know, I used to see people stealing cars. I would see people stamping on people's heads. I would see people fucking attacking people with a hammer. Like, I've seen the shit with my own eyes. I've seen people running from the police and fucking jumping off balconies and like fucking twisting up their ankle on the floor and shit, being tackled by the fucking police. I've seen it, but it was the same. It's like come out more at night when the lights go out.
All
and
the crackheads come
out,
the prostitutes come out, and you know, all the guys, you know what I mean? All the road guys come out. Like, so I think because I was not knowing of that and wanting to stay away from home, then I started seeing that, and then you start hanging around with, you can say the wrong people, but those people kind of showed you the way as well. Like, without them, you might have been lost. You might have done something even worse. So you start hanging around certain guys, and then you start like, you know, while you're trying to figure out who you are, that is there. You know, like the roads are there for you. So yeah, I think that's sort of like where everything kind of started for me.
And young too, 12.
And young. Yeah. Like my relationship with my dad kind of like created my life on the roads. Had we had a better relationship, I would have stayed in the house a lot more. I would have stayed away from it. So yeah, for me, that relationship kind of like created all of that stuff, you know. Yeah.
You still speak to your dad? No.
I haven't spoken to my dad for a good few years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Since like COVID times, I think.
Yeah. One of the gifts of it though is like when you become a dad, you know how not to do it. Yeah. That's what it was like for me when I had my girls. I was like, fucking hell, how not to do it.
Yeah.
As long as I avoid doing what happened to me when I was growing up,
yeah.
these kids are gonna be cool.
Yeah,
They're gonna be fine.
100%. You end up being like the opposite almost.
Yeah.
You know.
Some people don't. They don't break the pattern.
No, they keep it
They
going.
stay in the
Yeah,
pattern. They stay in the loop. They keep sabotaging. They keep going toward what is a
Which is true because
path.
because even though we had a quite rough relationship. Like that's still my dad. You know what I mean? I just don't see him just because I don't see him, but that doesn't mean that the love isn't there. And
Right.
just what I'm saying. So, but I just don't want to do things the way he done things,
Right.
sort of thing. But I still respect him as what he was in his time. Like it's different from how it is now, sort of thing. But yeah.
So at this time, I'm assuming there was because I think you showed me a picture of you when you was younger. You weren't in shape.
So when I
was you a
was-
little fat kid?
Nah, I was skinny.
Was you? You
I
were
was
skinny?
Yeah, I was skinny. So when I was a kid, I wanted to be a 100-meter sprinter.
Right.
So I was always running. You know what I mean? I was quite quick in school, so I was always skinny. So I never had any size or anything. Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I was definitely.
Maybe
I was
it's
lean.
the photo from prison that I saw that was.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
should
yeah,
be your
yeah, yeah.
biggest.
So that was later on. Yeah. So
It was definitely.
yeah. So I don't know. It's been crazy because my life's just been it's been so much of a roller coaster. Where before I went jail, I was a skinny. I was very very lean, malnourished lean.
Yeah.
I was like skinny. But I was tall. I had probably about this height from like 13, so I was really tall from young. And then staying out just meant that I wasn't eating because when you're out on the streets running around and shit, you're not thinking about eating. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
out.
trying to hit your 2 o'clock meal time.
Yeah.
It's not early. Yeah.
So it wasn't
And
until
today's
I went
agenda
jail.
is not hitting my macros.
Yeah, nah, definitely nah. There was no, I was going days without eating sometimes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I went jail where I actually started taking the shit serious. I started taking the gym life serious.
But that was later, innit?
But that was later. I went jail when I was 17.
Fuck, man. Fuck. What was that for again? I
I
remember
went
you told me
jail
before,
for
but
kidnapping GBH.
That's right. Yeah. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, 17 years old. And then I got sentenced when I was 18 and got 6 years.
Fuck.
But that, just before I went jail is when I started going to the gym. So when I went there, that's like the first thing that I was focused on was just training. That's all you really, you can do you can like do like courses and all that kind of stuff, but that's what everyone's really trying to do. And that was the one thing, it just came natural to me when I went in there and I started training. Like I got bigger, stronger, quicker than most of the other people. And I was like, this is what I got going. This is like my thing. Because before that, I didn't really have like you got a thing, like your kids are good at football or whatever. I never had anything. So like when I went to jail, that's when I figured out that this gym thing was really for me. Yeah. You know.
How? Because I want to fucking unpack it a little bit. How did you lead up to that? Because there's a difference between, committing some minor shit. I was stealing and took without consent and try and drive a car and whatever. But then there's the other level. Like my older brother murdering someone. That's another level of fucking getting caught up in something and not registering that what you're doing is like not shit. I shouldn't be doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what was the things that led up to ultimately you having to?
I think so. The first time I got arrested, I was 10. That was for a minor. I think it was in the summer holidays. I mean, I had like for some reason I was with one of my older friends and we broke into a school for no reason. For no reason. Like, it wasn't like to steal or anything. We were just fucking about and we just went in there and ended up getting arrested. So that was the first time I got arrested. And then from there, because of I think like my dad was so pissed that it just spiraled out from there. And then I just kept getting arrested for minor things, like phones, and like stealing phones and that kind of stuff. But then when I went to live with my mum when I was about 15, and I got kicked out of school about the same sort of time, and but her thing was you can't stay in the house. Like, I'm not letting you stay in the house. So while she was at work, I had to be
So to be
outside.
out.
So there's a lot of time just outside by myself because everybody else was in school. Only other people that wasn't in school was people that was like me, that was also or older people or druggies or whatever. But again, it was mainly just myself. So
that must have been hard.
yeah. So from there, those were like some dark times from like 15 till when I went jail, because those are the times. You know, when you're a teenager, your hormones are going crazy. And you don't know who you are. You're trying to figure everything out, and you're feeling like you're not loved. And it was just where you always get love is with the other down and outers.
Yeah, 100%.
They always show you love.
100%.
So you're not getting love where you want at home and stuff with your family, but on the street, there's always love. And all those guys are heavily into crime and stuff. So I went from I had a mindset of like I didn't care. So me going to jail was actually a good thing. Yeah. Because if I didn't go to jail at that time, I probably would have done something even worse. Right. And then might have got life.
Because you were spiraling anyway.
I was spiraling. Like we was just on all sorts, like everything. Like we didn't care, you know.
But that's the thing though, man. Like the those are pivotal moments, you know. That we all go through them. Anyone that's been through the darkness, like you get to a point where, you know, you could say it's like a rock bottom moment, getting arrested, getting sentenced for 6 years. That's a rock bottom moment, but they turn into a fucking a place for us to build from, you know. That's how it's been for me in my life, where I've had so many times where I've just had these real fucking rock bottom moments, but there's always been something at the back end of it. There's always been something to build or grow from, and it wasn't until so I started writing my book. When I was writing the book, it occurred to me that a lot of the times that I had been in these rock bottom moments in my life, they happened because I had wanted them to. Like I had put myself into the wrong people and done things. I had been at certain places at certain times. Like it was me making fucking decisions that were just leading me down a fucking path. And I realized as I was writing my book that these rock bottom moments I kept on experiencing, I was doing it so that I could rebuild again and come out the other side of it victorious, as if like I've transformed. Like you see what I just went through and what I just fucking endured and where I am now. And that was all rooted deeply to the trauma that I had experienced and the neglect and things that happened in my childhood. It was a way of me being able to build back up, like rise back up like the phoenix, just so then I could look at people and say, do you see, I'm not a worthless piece of shit. Did you see what I did there? Like I was there, and now I'm here. And it took me a while to realize that pattern was fucking unhealthy, bro, because that can lead you down anywhere. Yeah. I could have ended up anywhere without realizing it and going, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, what have I've like severed relationships and I've fucked up businesses and I've just burnt stuff, just burnt everything down around me when things are going good because of my fucking trauma, because of the stuff that I went through. So like ultimately, there is good that can come out the back end of it, but for me, it was recognizing that like I didn't want to keep doing that. You know, I don't need to tear everything down to build something. Yeah. That doesn't have to happen. And now I live my life differently. Like I'm not sabotaging myself in the same way anymore because I've had the realization, and the realization I've had is that like I can just build good for that. I don't need it to be bad to build something good. You can just be good. Like my life can just be good. I can be loved. I can love my fucking children. I can be a good dad. I can train and look after myself. I can be a good member of community to my friends, and I can build cool shit with cool people. And it don't need to come off the back end of a fucking rock bottom moment that I have quite literally done myself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's crazy. So, like, you know, going to prison is probably, like I say, it's probably the fucking best thing that could have happened.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, especially when, like, that part of, like, the area that I lived in was, like, all the stuff you're seeing is very, like, far. It's not like like a nice area. The area is quite rough itself, so you're just exposed to a lot of things. So a lot of things became normal. And it wasn't, like, shocking to see all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you know, people getting all stabbed and shot, all kinds of things going on but young. So once you see it, you're desensitized to it. Like, you can't really, it doesn't really affect you as much. So it's nothing for you to also do it or attempt to do it because you've seen it. It's normal. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah,
you know, that's just how it was around there. So yeah,
which we know now as we are, you know, older and we've gone through those experiences. We know that, you know, that doesn't. It's not normal. None of that shit was normal. And I have conversations with people all the time, especially men, where I talk about like my childhood and things that I went through, and they'll talk to me about things they've been through, and none of it's normal. No, you know what I mean? Yeah. None of the shit was normal. Seeing my fucking sister being beaten by my brother was not normal. That's not a normal thing. Having my older brother put his arm around me and fucking tell me that you don't cut this way if you want to kill yourself, boy, you go this way. That's not normal to have those interactions. But how I grew up, where I grew up, the environment I grew up in, the people I grew up with, it was fucking normal. I didn't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
Completely normal to me.
And then you're seeing people that are like way even worse in their thinking as well, more extreme.
Yeah.
But you know though, but even then, even when you're in it and you're doing certain things, something inside of you is like, this ain't.
Yeah, you still know.
You got a feeling like this isn't me. You know, this isn't where I'm supposed to be, or this isn't where it's supposed to end at. You know what I mean?
But you know, equally, there's the feeling you get from when you're on, and you know it's what you want to be doing, right?
Yeah.
Which is where you were at when you went in. It's like, oh fuck me, man, I'm banging weights, I'm getting big, and I'm fucking doing something here. Yeah, that's a feeling where it was turned on.
Yeah, that's it. Way. Yeah, because it felt like you belonged. You know, like this is something that I can use. You didn't know what it was then because that was a long time ago. So there wasn't any social media or anything. So you didn't know what you could really do with it, but you knew you had something.
Yeah, I see videos now, bro. People fucking in prison inmates with.
living the dream. Yeah. I was like, that's crazy. It was not like that when I was in there. These guys are walking around the landing.
Female prison guards in there with them.
Yeah,
what
bro.
the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's a different. I mean, all of that was happening, but it was low key. It wasn't so like. I seen some videos make me laugh. I'm like, is this even real? Like, you can't tell whether it's a parody or not because it's like these guys are walking around the landing with like, you know, Gucci sliders on. The stuff they got in their cell is better than what some people got in their houses.
Yeah,
like, living a dream.
It's crazy.
Living a dream, man. It's crazy.
Easier for some people to be inside. That's the fucking crazy part, mate. You know what I mean?
You see that a lot, yeah.
Easy.
They got a roof over their heads. It's a lot cheaper way of living. You know?
It's probably easier too when you really think about it. Like when you're, life is hard, mate. You know, life is the greatest challenge to endure, man. Like there's so many. How I frame it though is, it's like a beautiful chaos. Life is a beautiful chaos because it's chaotic as fuck sometimes, and like people die that you love, and you know you have to, transcend identities that don't fit anymore, and you know fucking go through things that are really dark and do hard work, and you know there's like the society side of things where you gotta almost like, you know, make money and be successful, because if you don't, then this, and so it's hard to do things in life. But what's probably easy is to just go jail, and then you're just in jail and you've got this little life to live, right? I mean, you're the one that experienced it. I was on the cusp of both prison and death more than once, but I never went in.
I used to see guys. I remember this guy. You know, in jail they call you by your last name, so his name was Tracy. I don't know what his first name was, but he came while I was in there. I might have saw him about 4 times. So I'm in there on my one sentence. This guy's come back 4 different times.
It's crazy.
And he comes back. When he comes back, he's like, hey, like he's happy, like, yeah, I'm back. like, I'm back already. You know what I mean? It's like, what's wrong with this guy? Keeps coming back, like just on small little shit offences because he had it better in there than he had it on.
He has outside, because life is hard, man.
Life is hard. So that is sad, to be fair, to see that. But you see that a lot as well. That was just one guy, but you see that a lot. And the people going in and out. You know what I mean? Then you got like people that are more like me who just went in there once and then that was enough.
Yeah.
I came out, I was like, I ain't going back in there.
What shifted in there then? What sort of
For me, I think just like that, knowing I had something else, because I'm someone who believes that everyone's got like a talent or something that they're good at that you can work with. But it's just before I went in, I never had, or I didn't know I had anything, any talents or anything that I was good at. I wasn't good in school. There's nothing stand out about me, so I didn't feel, But like when you're on the roads, just being the you can stand out by being aggressive and being the one that's always, you know what I mean? So it's easy to be like someone on the roads. But then, so when I went in there and I done a lot of courses and like the gym just became my life in there, and I knew that, okay, actually, I don't have to chase all this kind of stuff because I got something going on. So when I came out, I always knew that. Even though I come out and I sort of went back to that life to a degree for a little bit, I still had that in my head. So when it was time to get away from that, it was easier because I knew, I got this. So
how old was you when you come out then? So if you were
I come
17,
out
6
about,
years?
so I went in at 17. I come out about 2 months before my 22nd birthday. So I come out, I'm lying, a week, I think a week before or 2 weeks before my 22nd birthday, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This must not have been too much longer when I met you then.
So that was
How old are you now? 36, 37?
38 now.
38.
I was
Shit,
like
bro,
5
you
years
fucking,
before I
you
met
fucking
you.
getting old.
Telling you, bro, I'm telling you, man, I'm getting old, man. I come out and then like I was kind of like things went a bit different than it was before. Whereas before it was a bit more violence driven. It was when I come out, it was more of a money making sort of thing. So, but then when I had my my oldest daughter, I was like, I'm like,
You need to get out.
And because I had a little scare just before, like a week before she was born, where I could have went back in, and it was just the worst feeling. I was like, nah. And I was in the police cell, and I was like, I knew I was gonna mess up. But then luckily, I didn't go back in, so it was fine. You know what I mean? But then from there, I was like, nah, I can't be messing around. I need to take my life serious from there. So I just started working and just started being like everyone else and just going to work and just built myself from there. And then found myself in the gym.
Yeah. And was the gym consistent in that time?
So that was the only thing that was consistent the whole way from jail all the way till now. That's the only thing that's been consistent. There's been times when it's not been, I haven't been going gym 4 or 5 times a week, but it's always been consistent from when I found it all the way till now, sort of thing. Yeah, that's always been the main thing.
Because some people, like me, for example, it was boxing that shifted things for me. It wasn't weights, it was boxing initially. But I'd gone through, like fucking so much loops of self-sabotage to get to that. And then when I started boxing, I was like, fucking hell, this is different. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, I can get I can feel good. And it's not fucking doing this and fucking getting on it and, rucking and doing all this other stuff that I was doing. It's from doing sit-ups now, It's from going for a little run and it's hitting the pads. And so that was where things shifted for me. And then it sort of morphed into weights and then a bit of bodybuilding and a bit of MMA. And, it sort of morphed over the years, but it's always been there. Like, I feel like anyone that has been through something or is going through it now needs to just go and train. It might not be fucking weights. It might not be jiu-jitsu. It might not be boxing, but you got to go and do something. You got to go and do something to move your body, because when you move your body, you move your mind. You process stuff when you're
it's a mental thing.
You know what I'm saying? It's
the
a
body
fucking mental thing.
It's really the body is really a byproduct of what's going on up here.
In mind, yeah.
That's it. So when you push yourself in the gym, it's really all mental, and then you just kind of get in shape as a
byproduct.
yeah, definitely, 100%. I mean, when you start, yeah, you know you want to look a certain way, but then at this point, it's just it's mental health. I can't even imagine not training in some capacity. It doesn't might not necessarily be weights, but if I'm not like lifting weights, running, doing some sort of
what would you do? Like, how would we spend our
that
time?
just seems like that just makes I just can't. My mind can't process that.
No.
Like, that's crazy. What would I do? Just not train in any fact.
Well,
that's mad.
You know, the natural club now, you got no gym, no life, right?
That's exactly that.
That's
That is exactly what no gym, no life means.
Yeah.
It's like it's a way of life now. In the gym, it's just it's no gym, no life because that's what we scream out. That's what sounds good. But really, it's just that's really no training, no life, innit? No physical activity, no pushing yourself.
Yeah.
You know, no life. That's really what it is. But no gym, no life just sounds more catchy.
It does sound catchy. When I saw it for the first time, I was like, shit, that's good, bro. I've got to give you feedback on that. That's good. Yeah. I mean, thinking about some of the transformation, though, that you experienced, because obviously part one of that, I suppose, is going from being on the road to going into prison, and then in prison trying to work shit out, training. And that's sort of where the transformation started. When you come out, though, and you start dabbling back into some of the things you were doing and getting involved with some of the stuff you were doing again, that's trying to pull you back, like an identity that you were, and it's trying to pull you back. And I resonate with that so heavily because there was periods of time during my transformation with fitness where, you know, like initially with the boxing, it was like, oh, I've dropped all the gear and all the drugs. And then I started boxing. But then, you know, a bit into it, I was like still doing shit on the weekend.
Yeah.
I was still going out and still getting fucked up on the weekend. And like maybe the weekend would go into like 2 or 3 days and then I'd be like clean again and I'd be like, no, I've got to, you know, train. And so it took time to move away from that identity.
Of course, yeah.
It wasn't overnight. It wasn't just a simple, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. And then I'm doing this now. It took fucking time, man.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, 100%. I think it would be good if it was just like, even though that is kind of how my mind works. Cause I remember, like, when I want to do something, I just literally just do it. But like with that, because it's such a big deal and it's sort of connected, it's not just so black and white. It's sort of connected to like that kind of lifestyle. You know, there's money, there's a lot of things in it that it's hard for you to just be like
step out,
just be out, like just like that, you know, because then you got to go through, you know, when you're making that kind of money, like when you're making money, just when you're making tax-free money in general, it's hard to then be like go to work, you're getting £10 an hour. That's crazy. £10 an hour. Like,
I think that's why. I think that's why anyone that I've spoken to that's been through some of this stuff, like why we all there's a bit of entrepreneur in all of them.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like even me doing, me having this business, it's because of that. You know, like you still, even though I'm not in that life anymore, you still want to. In my mind, I'm still. You know, I want to be a millionaire still. I want to do this still. Like you still have the same dreams and aspirations, but
you're
now
finding a different way to do it.
But it's a different way to do it now. Yeah, like I couldn't just have a 9 to 5 now. Like I feel like I have to have my own. It wouldn't feel right. I couldn't just stop doing what I'm doing, even though it's hard. It's super hard. you know, it's super hard.
You know what gets me when someone goes, you know, you're really lucky. You get to just like go to the sauna in the morning and stuff, and you haven't got to be at work at a certain time. I'm like, you have no fucking.
They don't get it, man.
You ain't got
so
a clue.
Hard.
You don't realise, mate, the amount
hard.
of glass that I've chewed.
Bro,
you have no idea.
Exactly, bro. It's so hard. You literally almost every day you just think. You kind of want to quit, right? You're like, fuck this is long. Then you go and do something else.
But do you know what, though? With that tie into the entrepreneur stuff and building a business, all of that come from fitness for me. Yeah. That was the basis. It was the fucking foundation, bro. Like everything that I have done and built and all the stuff that I have now, you know, to look at and go, oh, cool, you know, because my life isn't fucking where I want it to be, but man, I live a pretty good life, bro. You know what I'm saying? So
same.
do you.
And
it's a long way away from where it could have been.
100%.
But when I look at it, I'm like, the foundation of all of that was training. It was fitness. It was eating my meals. It was structure. It was all of the stuff that got me in shape physically. is stuff I use now in my business. It's what I use in my continued personal development and my continued development of self, and it's how I continue to push forward, is from this very base foundation of things that I did on a consistent basis that got me results. Nothing was overnight. The moving away from drugs and never doing fucking cocaine and MDMA and all of that stuff again. That doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That took work, and it was a lot of work, and it was a work every fucking day to try to not go back there. Someone asked me a little while ago. They said, would you do drugs now, like in a recreational setting? You know, like if you was out with your boys or whatever, or you was out and about, or you was at a festival, and would you do them? And I said, no, I wouldn't. And they're like, well, why? I said, because I do things now to reaffirm an identity that I want to become. Yeah. And if I did that, it would just confirm an identity that I've just tried so hard to move away from. So if I did it, if I ever found myself there, you know, doing that, all it would do is just pull me straight back to who I was. Now, I'm not saying that I'm weak in the sense that if I did a line, I couldn't stop myself. That's not what I'm saying. But it would, in my mind, go, see, it's still in there. The old fucking person you were is still in there, but he's not. He's gone. That's not who I am anymore. And so every decision that I make now is about reaffirming an identity that I want to become, not confirming the one that I've just left and come away from.
No, I agree, man, 100%.
It's work, and I think that's at the beginning of this podcast we was talking a little bit about people not wanting to do the work. And this podcast, you know, the audience of this is mainly men in the demographic, and mainly men that have endured and gone through some stuff, gone through some experiences, and like yourself, you know, like me as well, they have to understand that the work that you need to do on yourself is going to be the hardest fucking work that you have ever had to do. But it is worth doing, because me now as a man getting to sit with my daughters and be present in a moment with them and share space with them in a way that is loving and connected. It's all the things that I didn't have growing up. It's all the things that I wanted to create for them. And I would go through all of that shit, every single fucking one of those things, all over again, if it meant that I could experience what I get to experience now.
100%.
There's peace and calmness in being able to be present with my children and present with myself and be able to do the things I do. I would go through all of it all over again.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man.
Put me back in the fucking trenches.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, no, I agree.
So I want to talk a little bit about this physical transformation, because, you know, you did get pretty big in prison, bro. I see the photo. You guys were trying to get a photo of Sammy when he was in prison. I mean, he was fucking big. He was a big dude. So when you came out, that's how I remember you. When I met you, you were huge. You were like fucking wedge. What made you start shifting gears to start actually getting into physical, like, peak condition? Because who you are now is far beyond the man you were when I first met you.
So I'll tell you,
in more than one way as well.
Yeah, so I'll tell you from that point of view, go back to the jail times. Like, I went in, I was 12 stone. I come out about 18 and a half stone. And then
Naturally, too.
Naturally, yeah. Naturally. Well, bro, I was eating my diet. I used to work on the servery, which is like the kitchen on the wing in jail. So I used to get access to all the food, but I used to eat a loaf of bread a day. And I used to also eat about 6 noodles a day, because I done the maths, right? I read the calories. So those noodles in there it was like if you had the 6 noodles, it was like 2,500 calories, which I knew was the average.
Yeah.
So I used to make sure I had that as a standard, a loaf of bread as standard, and then had the meals, all the rest of the meals that you used to have in there. So I was just big. And it was at that age as well, 17 to...
It was just growing
21.
anyway.
You're growing anyway. Yeah. So obviously I've like manipulated my gym, and I was training hard, doing hella press-ups, everything. So I come out, and then weight wise, up and down. Obviously, you know, I was still doing bits and bobs on the road, so I was a bit up and down, but I still maintained a certain size. And then fast forward to like, I think I was 27 when I moved up here.
Yeah.
And in that year, because I've been big and whatever, I kind of, my body was used to it. In that 1 year, so probably when I met you. So from that year, you
like
saw
20
it.
2012,
You saw
I
it. So
think.
when I first met you, I was fairly still lean. I was probably about weight-wise what I am now. But I was just on this. I wanted to be as big as humanly possible. Do you remember me saying this?
I remember.
I wanted to be as big as humanly possible without taking steroids.
Correct.
So I just wanted to see what it looked like.
Yeah.
So I was just literally, and I got a big appetite, and because when I want something, I could just go all in. That's like one of the good things about me.
It wasn't just the eating, bro. Like the fucking weight you would lift.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've not seen anything
that.
like
I'm doing
it.
all of that, but I'm watching like Rich Piana and all those kind of guys. So I'm doing what they do.
He's like,
but
you
naturally,
eat a tub of fucking Ben and Jerry's every night.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd be like, I was like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I just literally just eat all this food. So I was eating healthy. I was talking about this earlier on actually. I was still eating fairly healthy, but it was just a lot.
Yeah.
So instead of like 2 chicken breasts and like a sweet potato, it was like 5 chicken breasts and like 2 large sweet potatoes. That was just
how
one
does someone
meal.
even fund this? How does someone fund that? Like, what
So I was
the fuck?
eating, oh man, I didn't used to track my calories, but I'm so curious to know what. I think that would have been at least 6,000 calories in a day, easy.
Yeah.
But I managed to put on, because I was coming from, again, being on the roads and not eating a lot of food. In that year, from 27 to 28, I put on like the majority of that size. I was put on about 6 stones in that year alone. Just a lot of mass, fat, muscle, everything, water weight, it was everything.
Yeah.
My head went like this, neck disappeared. I was just too big, too big.
Yeah.
You saw it. Now my biggest, I was like 25 stone.
Yeah, that's crazy.
At my biggest.
I'm surprised you didn't get sleep apnea.
And then like I had it all. I had it all. I had it all, man. That's part of the reason why I started. I remember I got ill.
Didn't you?
Yeah, I had it
I
all.
remember. Yeah.
I used to do removals, and at the end of the day, my ankles would be like. Puffed out and
I
swollen.
remember, man.
I had to like lie down and put my feet up just to make my ankles go down.
Man. So coming into that, you're sort of you're realizing like, fuck, man, this ain't it.
This
you
isn't
have that
athletic,
same thing that you had before, where it's
Yeah.
like, this ain't it.
This ain't the one.
I don't know what it is,
I went too far because I'm extreme.
but this ain't it.
Yeah, I'm extreme. I feel like I'm extreme in my thinking and stuff. So, and I have like an obsessive kind of personality, very like addictive. So I just went all the way in. You know, I didn't, and probably the most important thing is I didn't have the knowledge. This is before I was a PT, so I didn't have that knowledge. I had that street knowledge, sort of thing.
Yeah,
you know, that bro science.
You should.
You know, I had no real knowledge.
You should. If someone hasn't already done this anyway, take it. You should write an ebook. It's like the prison guide to getting massive. You put exactly what you was eating in there.
Yeah.
Someone will buy that shit.
Someone will buy that.
People buy a lot of shit nowadays.
That's
just to
actually
try and
true.
solve a problem. So
Basically, you want to eat a lot of carbs. You want to eat a lot of carbs. Carbs will get you big.
Yeah.
Carbs will get you big, man. For me, it was just crazy. But I think when I became a PT and with the knowledge and everything I learned, and I then reverted back because, you know, to years before when I wanted to be a sprinter, and I remember that I actually want to be athletic and, you know, I like the structure and the discipline that comes with being on point with your food and eating certain things. And so I had I think my heart was in the right place, but I just didn't have the education behind it. So as soon as I started learning things, that's when my size really started coming down.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah. And it's like a body dysmorphia sort of thing as well, innit? Because obviously, I didn't even know I was as big as I was. I look back now, I'm just like, fuck, I can't even believe I was that big.
Huge, man.
I just didn't know. So that was another thing that I had to overcome, like that thought of people that don't know what I look like then look at me now and think I'm massive.
Yeah. But I'm like, understand.
I'm a good 8 stones lighter than I was when I was when I was that big, sort of thing. So yeah, that was just.
You can still lift pretty fucking heavy too.
Yeah. in some of my lifts, I'm stronger now than I was then. But yeah, it's just
Put another plate on. What?
yeah.
Sammy, there's already 5 on it.
Yeah.
Put another plate on.
Yeah, no.
All right, just put a fucking plate on. You're like, boom. Is it 1 for 1 rep either? I just remember you just used to do reps.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, man. Yeah, I think a lot of that also comes
Was you
down
there
to
the time when we like fucking jacked the bench press at Fitness First, and we ended up doing like I think it was like 400 or 500 reps, but there was 4 of us, so we were on it.
going.
We were on it
No
for
one could get
fucking
on.
hours.
See, like now, if you saw like the kids doing that now, you'd be like, "Fuck, say get off." The bench." That's the kind of stuff we used to do all the time, man.
That popped in my head the other day. I was like, "Fucking hell!" Do you remember that? Like, sat there on the bench press for like 4 hours, just.
A lot of that comes down to like when you like get your identity from being the big strong guy as well. So you always feel like you got to prove something. I think definitely a lot of that came into that. So that now I don't really have that mindset. I mean, not on them levels at least. Anyway, like I don't do anything to impress anyone now. I just sort of like more interested in health, and longevity. My thing's like maintaining what I have for the long term. You know, and just exploring different avenues of fitness. When I started running and stuff, and doing boxing and all that kind of stuff, it's a very, you're just learning, innit? You just, you're living life and you're just learning certain things. But back then, you couldn't have got me to run anything.
No.
Back in those days, there was no running. Like that was didn't even look at the treadmills.
Happen.
It was never gonna happen. It was never gonna happen. Now, I'm happy to go out there and run a half marathon. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, I think that's testament to you as a PT though, because you're and this might upset some people, and I don't give a fuck. But you do the work, whereas there are some. We've had this conversation before, bro, where there's some and they're just not doing it.
They don't do the work.
They've got the knowledge and they've got their certificate,
Yeah.
And they're certified, but they're not doing it. They're not a walking, talking example of what it means to be fit and healthy and athletic.
And it doesn't make no sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense because there's some things you got to live it. I couldn't read in a book what it's like to climb a mountain and then try and teach that to someone.
Nope.
Because until you're there, you just need that feel. I'm definitely one of those kind of people, one of those kind of PTs. I had to have gone through it to be able to teach it to my clients. Otherwise, I wouldn't be as good.
It wouldn't make any sense.
There's certain things as well that's just not in those. It's not in it. It's like doing those courses. You know what I mean? You can do a little 4-6 week online course and become a PT.
Man, I got to ask you: have you ever had to, with a client, tell them what like the actual bone is called?
Not one time.
Yeah, not once.
Not one time. That's the hardest bit, like the heart and all of that. No one cares. Nobody cares. In fact, sometimes I start breaking things down. Yeah. And then people are just like, they checked out the conversation, bro. They're not even listening. Yeah. They're not even listening. All they want to know is either how to lose body fat and build muscle, look better. That's all they care about. They don't care about like, the left atrium and the deoxygenated blood and all this kind. They don't care about all of that stuff. They just want to know how to lose fat, look better in their clothes and stuff. You know what I mean?
And I'm glad people are coming to you to do that. That's why your business is growing. That's why you're thriving, bro, because you're a fucking walking, talking example of what it means. Yeah. And that's just something that's lacking.
And it goes against a lot of that stuff that you learn and the stuff that you lived don't go together as well. Like some of the stuff that I know in the books and stuff, they'll tell you that's the wrong thing to do. So that's another thing as well.
I walked out when I was getting certified.
I remember you telling me.
I was like, fuck that. I'm not.
Because you already know all the stuff, and you're just like, even if anything, more qualified than the people, the actual tutor that's telling you.
I had been training a while, and I've been, doing my thing, and I'd actually, also like you, I'd got results, and that was the thing that was a bit confusing to me. Is like I was looking around the room at all these like, people trying to qualify as personal trainers and stuff, and I'm looking at them, and I'm not the one to judge. At the end of the day, it's fucking God's job. Yeah, it's not mine. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm a human being, and we do judge. And I was looking around, and I was thinking, none of these people are in shape here. Yeah. But and then I was looking at what they were trying to teach, and certain things like you have to not step over the weight bar and stuff. And I just thought, how fucking much of this is actually important to someone getting results? And that's why people probably at mass ain't getting results, because most of the PTs at mass are talking shit and they look like shit and they're not fucking doing the work themselves.
They're not doing the work. Yeah, that's it. To see that, I see people that don't even really train. They're coming to the course and they're wearing jeans and they're not even wearing the right clothing. I'm just like, this is outrageous. This is crazy.
Shit's fucking
like,
mad,
I saw that. And you have like in a class, you will have like a small minority of people that you could tell that are actually going to be good PTs, but then the vast majority of them were not going to be good PTs. But they'll be the ones to actually go out there and make loads of money,
probably,
which is crazy.
Yeah.
So it's just a mad world. But you just make it work the best way you can, and just gotta focus on your own thing and not even worry about them.
Talk to me a bit about that. The Natural Club. Obviously, the idea came from somewhere. Where was the idea birthed, and how did that sort of become what it is today?
The idea came from jail.
Yeah,
that's exactly. Well, that's where the name came from. Actually,
I remember
the name came from jail.
Saying, yeah.
So because we were so big, so there's a few of us. Because we were so big and strong. I mean, I was 18 when I was benching 180.
Yeah,
you not seen a lot of people. There was other people doing that. Don't get me wrong, but like I was one of the few.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So because we used to get drug tested for steroids because they thought we was on steroids, bringing it in, but we wasn't. So when we used to go to the gym,
pretty much the same as now, mate.
Pretty much the same as it now.
He's on fucking steroids, and mate, I can promise you, he's not on steroids.
I've come a long way. It's still, it hasn't changed.
This guy is definitely not on steroids. And they look at you and they go, he's on steroids.
So then,
is he on steroids, Alex? Does he look like he's on steroids?
It's literally, But I don't blame him, because when you look back on it, I understand that. You know what I mean? And there was other people in there who wasn't steroids.
Again, so it comes back to that same shit, though, about doing the fucking work, because people don't understand.
Yeah.
They don't understand. It's not that simple. Because I did do gear, and, I was taking steroids at one point, with 2017, 2018, circa that time. But, I used to say, like, I will give you the steroids. I will buy the steroids for you, and I will tell you exactly what to do with them. I will even give you a fucking meal plan, and I bet you still can't get the results.
Exactly.
Because there's something not working somewhere else, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. People forget about that. People forget about like the actual just genetic potential that some people have. I've seen people look way better than what I look like and never took steroids. Don't even really train as such. They just have it.
Is that Quick Sessions? He's natty, isn't he?
He's natty.
Yeah, he's crazy shape.
I've known him. I've known him for years. Yeah. Well, they don't know. They're saying that he did take steroids. I don't know, man. For me, I always believed him because I know people like that. Like, Quick Sessions being one. Like, if I see, you only got to see one Quick Sessions. If he's natural, then anyone could be natural. Yeah. And he's looked like that. I've known him for years, and he's always looked like the way he looks now. Yeah. He's always maintained that kind of size and shape. We used to just scream it out when we go in there, bench some heavy weight or squat some heavy weight or deadlift.
Natural Club, baby.
We scream out Natural Club. That's how it started. That's literally how it started.
It's crazy.
But there was no real social media or anything. It was or it was very new. So I think I might have signed up to like Twitter and YouTube in like 2011. But there wasn't a lot going on, so you didn't really know what you was doing, but you knew you had something. So it was only the people that were really clever or that had a team that was able to really grow, like the Simian Pandas.
Yeah, it's different now.
That stuck with it. Now everyone's doing it. It's different. Yeah. But like, if you could make it work then, you would have been, you know what I mean? You would have been up there. So there's only a few of them.
So that idea came, and then it's morphed now.
It's morphed, yeah. So it was there.
Bits with it now.
But because, I guess, you struggle with like self-belief, and so you kind of, you're not sure, like, I sometimes still struggle with those kind of things now. Like, you're not sure. You think you can make money doing something else, because really you want to enjoy life as well. You want to make it and enjoy life.
I think
and have something as well.
that's
you
the
know?
most important thing for me. It's taken me a long time to realize it, though. It took me a very long time to realize that actually what I do want in my life is peace, man. I just want
Yeah.
peace, bro. I want to feel
Yeah.
content and I want to feel peace. And if I'm fucking got stacks of money at that, then great. You know what I mean? But that's not the goal
That's
anymore.
not the goal. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
goal is to just have peace, man, as a man, because I know what that chaos feels like, and I've been in it too much. I don't want it anymore, and so it's no longer important to me. And do you know what's happened? It's crazy. The crazy thing is, I've made more money since shifting that.
Yeah.
When I was on trying to make
The
money,
money's there. The money is infinite. You can make it, but like sometimes in my experience, the more you chase it, sometimes the more it runs away from you.
100%.
You know, if you just focus on building your vision, you know what I mean, that normally comes out of that. You know, yeah, definitely. But it's just you just gotta keep at it. That's the hard thing about being an entrepreneur and or trying to do this.
It's
thing,
tough, man.
It is tough because at the same time you still have to feed your family. You got bills to pay and.
How long have you been just PTing now for? It's got to be fucking.
I started. I want to say before COVID, so
about 5
2008,
years, isn't it?
19, 18 probably started. Yeah, got qualified around then.
Yeah, that's mad. Some
Just
people
kept
don't
going.
last, bro. It's 2 years, they say. 2 years. 80%
Yeah.
of businesses
I seen it.
fail in 2 years.
I used to go to the gym and I seen like the new PTs just start, and
Churn.
they're struggling,
They're out the
and they're
fucking
like,
door.
nah,
Yeah.
then they're gone. But
This
I
is
don't
not
blame
the
them.
life for me.
Yeah, because PT, you can make money. Like, yeah, a lot of self-employed jobs, you can make money, but it's not really. You don't become a PT to make money. It's not one of those. You're providing a service to the general public. Really, that's where it is. And then off the back of that, you'll make money, but it's not really like a money maker as such.
Yeah, there's other things you can do
Other things you can do, like
where you don't have to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning to
yeah,
meet a client at
'cause
6 in the morning.
yeah. Sometimes I wake up at 5. I wake up at 5 every day, but sometimes I might work all day. I might have a break here and there, but I can work from 6 all the way till 9 in the nighttime. But still make less money than like a plumber,
Yeah.
or electrician, or one of those.
But if you enjoy that, that's
But this is my thing.
the magic.
I can't. Yeah, I thought about. That's what I'm saying. I say sometimes you think I can make more money elsewhere because I do want to get to the bag. I can't act like I'm not trying to. I'm trying to get to the bag, but at the same time, I can't. I feel like I'm locked in. Like this is my thing. This is what I'm doing.
Mate, that's the one thing that I, over the past decade, have learned about it myself is that, I had Be Supreme. It was everything, man. It was it was my baby, bro. It was my life, mate. It was the thing that supported me through my transformation, to be more of the mind, to do more of the body, to be supreme, to become the best version of yourself. That was like my ethos. It's what I had such a huge amount of my identity wrapped up in that brand.
Yeah, I remember.
Gone. Fucking almost overnight, mate. Legal letter from Bear and Wolf, some fucking legal department of Supreme New York. And I'm like, what's this all
I
about?
remember that.
What the fuck is that? And they're like, you got to change the fucking font, the lettering, and the name, really, because we don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck, man? So I strip it all back down again, building everything back up again. As an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you're just constantly navigating. Same thing is true for me with going through the shit, going through the stuff in my personal life, and going through the traumatic events that I've been through. It's the same. It's like a persevering through that to get to.
Yeah.
And it is worth it. Any man that has made something of themselves will tell you it is fucking worth it. It's worth it at the other end.
They have to go through great struggles to get there, but they get you. You will get. You only won't get there if you give up, right?
Which is part of it.
It's kind of a given. You give up, you're not gonna get there.
Yeah.
But if you stay in it, then that's it. That's what you need to do. Just stay in it, keep learning and growing, and keep pushing forward and creating those connections, and you are gonna get there at some point.
Well, you've now expanded as well from just PTing to the clothing.
Yeah.
You can see he's rocking the hat now as well. When am I going to be hooked up with one of these, bro?
Yeah, but the hats are there. You know, I should have brought one. You know,
You should have brought one.
I should have brought one. I've got some new. You know what it is? I'm working on some new stuff.
Yeah.
That so you know when you've got the new stuff coming out, you don't really focus on like the older stuff. But yeah, that's the goal.
Because I can officially say I have been in the natural club for a while, bro.
Is it, bro?
I've been off that.
That
years now.
Yeah.
7 years.
That's it.
7 years, natty.
Yeah, man. That's.
And funny because some people still
I used to
say,
tell you all the time. I used to go, you don't need that shit. I used to remember. I said, you don't need that shit, man.
Some people still say now, they're like, "You think you're on gear?" And I'm like, "Mate, no. Like this is the thing. When I was on it, you know, some people will take it and they won't look like they're on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then some people will not take it and look like they're on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still get people sometimes saying like,
yeah.
"You fucking taking gear? You're taking some Anavar or something."
Yeah. But now I understand them more than I used to because it was, to me, I don't know, I might have been very naive to it, but now I know everyone, even all the kids, men, women, everyone's fucking with something now. So I understand it way more now than I used to. But before it was more like the steroid guys were over there and then the people who didn't take it was over here. Now it's like everyone's on something. Yeah, there's all kinds of shit now, and they just think it's okay. So you really, it's almost like no one really cares. So now it's like it's a personal thing. Like me always being natural and stuff like that. It's more of a personal thing. Whereas before it was kind of like I kind of felt like you should respect me because I've never. Now it's kind of like it's just for me. Like it's just my own thing. You know, that I can walk around with. You know?
Yeah, I remember you used to say to me I didn't need it, but I never felt like you were judging me for taking it.
No.
I never got that vibe. But it was like, fucking, you know, is he like, because I'm taking it? It was never like that. It was like, you do you, I'm gonna do me, but I'll show you.
Yeah. Because in the end, I just want to see everyone win, man.
Yeah.
So I think that overriding thing, even though like I've got my personal opinions. I just want to see if that meant that you went on and won a bunch of bodybuilding shows and that I would have been like, it's like guys in the gym now. It's like George in the gym now, like he's taking it and stuff. And I'm like. I tell him how I feel about it, my opinion, but if that's what you want to do. And to be fair, he's more educated than I am, but he proper knows his stuff. So I'm like, he hasn't just gone into it. So I'm like, do your thing, man. I hope you win. Yeah, I hope you win, but it's just not for me,
Are you gonna compete?
What, in bodybuilding?
Yeah.
I don't think so, man.
Never.
Nah, I don't think so. The only thing I'm into is like strongman and like that kind of stuff. Yeah, powerlifting.
I've always thought like we're gonna see him on stage one day.
I think, to be fair, back then
he's pulling a fucking truck. No,
yeah. I think back then would have been a better time. I think my physique, I had more into it than then. Whereas now I've got injuries here and there, tore bicep. I don't think the symmetry is as good. Yeah. I think I'm more suited to like strongman and stuff now. And I like other stuff as well. I like, I'm probably more likely to get back in the ring before I try and do a bodybuilding show. I just never had the real drive for it. Yeah. But I would do the prep. Yeah. The prep.
That's
something that I would do. Mate. Yeah.
You'd nail it. You do 20 weeks and you
like that mindset and like what it takes and with the training and the how the dieting and everything, how hard it is. That is something I could do. But to do it and then step on stage isn't really my thing. That'd just be to do it just for me. You know? Because I've sort of done like my own version of a prep already anyway. Yeah. So
the question on my mind though, mate, is when are you gonna come to the mats and get some jiu-jitsu doing? Because
no, I need to.
We're waiting.
No, I need to.
I was gonna actually message you this morning and say I was gonna send you a text message. I was gonna say, look, bro, just throwing it out there. But as about we get Alex come down to the gym, we'll do some rounds before we do the podcast because it'd be like it'd be like David and Goliath.
Yeah. You know what it is, and the more I get round of it, because my mindset is like, as men, like we have to stay dangerous. Yeah, you know, I say it a lot. Like you have to stay dangerous. You have to be able to protect yourself and your family. It's not only a physical thing; it's also, being a dangerous man is someone who can articulate himself well. Mm-hmm. So it's also that as well. Financially, it's all the ways. Yeah. But when you look at combat, I find it hard. Me being someone who's like more into boxing and stuff, I find it I'm finding it harder and harder to get past the fact that if you go down to the floor, what you saying now,
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
game over.
Yeah,
Mate.
so I've been looking at
doing. It's game over down
I've been
there.
looking at a lot of Muay Thai, that kind of stuff, and I'm like, even that, I'm like, boxing's good, but it'd be cool if I knew, you know, some other striking
some
techniques, maybe some wrestling in there, like you know.
Well, I've said that you should do jiu-jitsu purely because you would be just a fucking weapon, mate, on those mats. Like you just the sheer size of you, your strength, like it would be so hard. You'd have an unfair advantage immediately against most people. Even being not very skilled at jiu-jitsu, you'd be a force because people would just struggle with that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I don't know that for sure until we roll. So
yeah. So,
let's get down on the mats.
I definitely feel like we should, you know, be very efficient in combat, you know, in different forms as well, not just one form, you know. So I can't really. I find it even hard to justify to myself, like, yeah, boxing's cool, and that's its own art form within itself, which is amazing. Yeah. But would like to also be able to wrestle someone down, to be able to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, in the same way you've done stuff like I have, we've ventured into so many different things with fitness. You know, like fuck, man. You know, 100 miles, bro. Shit was crazy, man. Yeah, like, and I wouldn't. That obviously different because it's a tribute, but there's been other stuff. Like, you know, I've cracked multiple marathons and just decided to just like start running. And people, I remember people saying like they're the wrong shoes to be wearing if you're going to be running. I was like, that's your opinion. That's that's not how I see it. So let me go do it. Like, you're going to end up with bad shins and bad knees and all this. And I'm like, again, that's what you think, but let me see if I'm going to go do it or not. I've always wanted to try new shit and get good at something that I'm not very good at. And now I found it. You know, I found that jiu-jitsu for me is just it's that. It's what training and lifting weights has been for you. That's what jiu-jitsu is for me. It's everything. It's all of it. It's the pain, it's the fucking purpose, it's all of it wrapped up into one, and it brings me so much joy to be on the mats, man.
It's just such a different level of fitness as well, isn't it?
Huge.
Such a different level of fitness. That's what I like as well. I just want to be someone who can do it all, you know, like to a good level. I spent a lot of years just trying to be like big and strong, but there's different kinds of strength, you know. So yeah, definitely, it's definitely something I want to really. You know,
we'll get you down.
Get into.
Trust me, we're gonna get him. Go down the mats. It's happening. You just don't know when yet. But I'm gonna be inviting you every single fucking time now, bro. So, a couple more things, man. Like, firstly, you know, I want to talk a little bit about, you know, the living mission that you have, because I know it's tough to build a business, it's tough to build a brand, and it's, you know, something that I've been doing for years now myself, and some more successful things that I've done and ventures I've done than others. But what is the overall vision for you now moving forward, having been through the things you've been through to get where you are today? What's the place that you're trying to really take yourself to now, and not just getting the bag either, because that's going to come.
That's what I was about to say. You know, that's the bag is always there. The bag is always there. But like, just getting the brand to household name status. I look at like Gym King and Vanquish Fitness and Gymshark, and I could see myself on those sort of levels. It's just getting there. But like for me, that's where the vision is for my brand, for like TNT Fitness. That's where I want. That's where I want it to go. Because that's a personal thing. That's just like to say, yeah, I done this. So it does go back to like, you know, my life, because I'd be able to look back and be like, even though I've already made something for myself, that I'd be like, I've done this. Yeah. This is the thing I set out to do. You know, I've tried and failed in different things, but this one here is this is the thing that's done it. And then it's something I can also leave for my kids, or something that they can come into the business, like a family business, so to speak, and they can come in and do certain things where, you know, that plays to their strengths as well. So I think that's the overall thing, is just to, you know, become a someone in that respect.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then obviously you got, being the best dad you can and being the best partner you can, and those things,
yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Those are the real things, really.
Yeah, those are the things that, every man should aspire to be in anyway.
Said before, that's what that's what is everything for me. Is I've created. I could die tomorrow, mate, and I'd know that the children that I have have had a beautiful experience with their dad
Mm.
for the time that I've been here, and hopefully
Yeah.
I get touch wood, long life, bro.
Yeah,
More
100%.
life, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? There's more, but
100 years, man. 100
100
years.
years. Let me keep living. But I could, and I would be at peace with that, knowing that like my children didn't have to suffer the burden of my fucking trauma because I was able to break a cycle before they had to experience it. That's everything to me. Like anything happens now is just a bonus for me. You know, if I make more money, if I help more people, if I fucking build more muscle, it's all just a bonus because I've already done what it is that I really ever wanted. I wanted a family unit that was loved and connected. Is this what I didn't have?
Yeah.
And when I look at my girls and I look at my missus and I look at, even like my mum and stuff now, like we've rekindled relationships since my sister passed. Like it's all forming there together, and it makes me a little bit sad to know that my sister's not here.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
and her passing was also part of what brought all of this together. Is paradoxically, but I could quite happily a hoka hey to today or tomorrow and know that fuck me, man, I did a good job with my kids, and the business will keep growing. The VA stuff will keep building. I've got a vision very clear for that. I want to fucking build it and exit it one day. That's how I'm chasing the bag.
Yeah.
Not chasing, sorry.
Yeah.
You don't chase the bag.
No, manifesting.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like this is very clear now, and it's very clear for you now. And the no gym, no life. I think that's really what you need to focus on. Really, is that, because that's a strong message.
Yeah.
And it's ultimately the message that people get behind,
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always said from day one, when I first met you and you were talking about the Natural Club, I was like, that it needs amplifying because that's not being spoken about.
Yeah.
Being able to get results, sustain results, and build good results naturally is not what people are talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's trying to find a shortcut. They're trying to find a fucking injection. I mean, have you heard what's these new ones, the fat injections?
Yeah, bro.
What the fuck is that,
bro.
man?
It's taking over, innit? Like, it's everywhere. I see a lot of people on it now, a lot of women, even some men as well doing it.
Shit's crazy.
It's
I had an ad pop up earlier, actually. It was like lose 3 stone or whatever in 3 months, and it was like with this fella.
Yeah.
I think it's called Fella Jabs.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think I might.
I was like, why the fuck am I being targeted with this?
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah,
I don't need that. How's that even landed up on my Instagram?
I spoke to people who's done it, and I asked them like what it is, like what's happening. It's basically just curb their appetite. It's doing the things that they didn't have the willpower to do themselves
in the first place.
So I'm like, you're just not eating. Essentially, there's nothing magical about it. You're just suppressing your appetite.
It's gonna get
that's
bad,
crazy,
mate. That'll end bad.
It's gonna end bad. It's gonna end. And my thing is like, why could you not do that?
Yeah.
Like, why could you just not do that? I've had like times when I've fasted and I've done all these kind of things, and I've just done it. It's not easy. I love food. People think I don't like food. People think I just like. Yeah, I do definitely see food as fuel when I eat it to feel good and look good and function better. But I do love food, so it's not easy to do it. But because I know why I'm doing something, I could just you should have that sort of discipline and strength to just be able to lock in when it's time to lock in. So I don't know.
Some people don't have it.
You can't take that stuff forever.
No.
So if you're not building what we get from training, they're not getting that. The mental strength that you get from training, they're not getting it. They're taking an injection and getting it. So when you do eventually come off it, because you can't take it forever, it's going to be a massive rebound, bro. It's going to be really bad.
I can't imagine just the health implications. Probably
it's going to be really bad. I've already heard some bad things, but it's going to be. I don't think people realise, but
it's the world we live in, mate, and that's why kudos to the work you do, bro, because you're showing people the fucking right way to do it. train same gym as you sometimes, right? I come down to train down there, and you know, I'll see you training your clients, and I'm like, they're doing it the right way. You know what I mean?
That's it. It's just teaching them how to do it properly, and then just helping them to be consistent. Because that's what people struggle with the most. You can tell them everything, but they really struggle with consistency. And one thing I like about my job or about my business personally is that, like, I've been training a lot of my clients for years. They know what they're doing, but they just like training with me. They like the accountability that comes with having a PT, and they ended up sticking around. Some of my clients have had for like over like maybe 3-4 years now.
Crazy.
Which is not really, like, it's kind of unheard of. A lot of people like, because a lot of people come and go, right? They come in, they get the knowledge, and then they go and they do it. But like, having someone there to keep you accountable and keeping you going, that you know what to do, but you just like having me there to tell you, and to help you, keep you going on the right path, is like, yeah, that's one of the amazing things that you get from being a PT.
Yeah.
When you see them change and stuff, yeah, you've done that. You know that everything that you're teaching them is working. It's really down to them. You can tell them everything, but if they don't implement these things, then they're not gonna have any.
It's the saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
But it's a fact.
It's
a fact, man.
It's a fact.
It's a fact. You see, yeah, and then like, once you make the progress, then either maintaining it or like progressing on that as well, like keeping it going is like something that a lot of people struggle with. You know?
Yeah. So tell me about what you wanna do with your fitness, man, moving forward. What are you gonna be doing? Are you gonna be competing anytime soon, doing some strongman shit?
I think
what you got in the pipeline for this year, bro?
I'm thinking get back in the ring. Start sparring, and then maybe get another fight going. Other than that, I think I'm gonna do a half marathon this year at some point. Probably late, maybe like October times. That's another little milestone for me. Coming from like only running 5Ks to now being able to run 10 miles, and that's another.
I did tell you long time ago, bro. When I started running, I started getting into it, and I was saying to you that the worst thing you can do is go backward.
You have to keep
going, keep pushing. If you started at 5K, don't stay doing 5Ks. Go to 7.5, and then go to 10. Or if you're like me,
start doing like ultra marathons and shit, like 70 miles.
Just go from fucking 5K to a fucking half marathon, and then have like a couple of runs between that and a marathon, and then shit's fucking crazy. Not everyone's built like it though, bro.
I like that.
And I obviously, I thank my trauma and the shit I went through, because I'm telling you, I probably wouldn't be able to do the shit I do.
Yeah, because you can tap into that. Gives
tap
you
in.
A new strength that
tap in.
That the average person might not have, because they haven't been through those things. It does help. It does help, man. Because I think for me, it's just doing everything to stay dangerous. Physically and mentally, financially, just doing all the things, just being at the top of the game, and then trying to maintain that for the long term. Because it's cool if you can do it for a year or two, but like
long term,
my clients that I have that are like 70, that are still crushing their workouts and stuff, that's where I draw my inspiration from. I think that's what I want. That's where I want to be. I'm trying to do this for as long as possible. All the time that I'm alive, I want to be, a dangerous guy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
There was a guy I had on my podcast, probably 2021, 2 maybe. Rod Stewart. Ain't a fucking musician. We already made that joke. It's not him. Rodney Stewart. He owns a gym in Florida. And he had this really nice ethos or philosophy around longevity. He said most of his clients are older, they're 60, 70 years old, most of them. And he was saying that the way he likes to put it is, when it comes to your health and your fitness and longevity, is that if you ask anyone, like, what's the average that someone's going to live to? Most people will say 70, 75, or at least in their head, they'll think, well, fuck me, if I'm still got my motor functions at 70, 75, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
And that's such a low bar, man, to think, you know. And so he looks at it the other way, where he says that if you automatically just in your head, when that's 100, like everyone just lives to 100, and if they're fit still at 100 and they're well at 100 and they're still moving well, and you know they're not fucking decrepit and fucking body parts falling off, like if you just made that the default in your mind first, and you were like, I'm gonna live to 100 and I'll be fit and healthy all the way through, then things would probably change, because you change your frame around everything from there, you know. Whereas most people, they think that the end of life is getting to 70, 75. And so by 50, 60, they're already tapping out of all the shit. They're like, oh, fucking, I don't want to be going to Pilates anymore or working out anymore. I'm getting old. So he had this thing where it's 250s. He said, you live your first 50 and then you live your second 50. And if you break it down that way, when you get to 50, things do change for most people. You know, your body slows down. There's certain things hormonally going on. There's changes that are happening. But if you then get to the other side of 50 and you think, right, I've got another 50 years, another 50 fucking years to keep putting work in and to keep getting better and to keep being healthy. And that's such a different mindset to what most people have.
Yeah.
It just is completely different. But I really love that frame. And when I hear you talking about longevity, that's kind of what's coming through. Is this idea of like, no, I'm not going to fucking, this is just what I do now, and I'll do this for the long term.
Yeah, that's exactly that. Yeah, exactly that. And it's like, someone like me, I feel like you're going to sort of get to a point where you feel like you've made it. I feel like I'm going to get to that point later in life anyway. So sometimes a lot of it is tied, it feels like a lot of that is tied to, I have to still stay young, mobile, strong, fit, functional, so I can enjoy that, you know, that wealth later on in life as well. That's another thing. I fully believe I'm going to make it to 100.
Yeah.
You can't tell me I'm not going to make it to 100. I feel like I'm eating the right things. I train myself the right way. I just can't see myself not making it.
Yeah.
That'd just be crazy. That my dad is,
bro,
what, 88 now? You're still
kicking
going,
it,
man.
yeah.
You're still going.
And with all the the advancements in medicine and all this other stuff as well, they actually are saying that it's possible for people to live.
That the lifespan's gonna be. It's gonna be lengthened.
That's crazy.
Whereas like back in the day, like, you know, like people were dying like in their mid-30s and 40s and stuff. Like, no, I think the lifespan's gonna be. You never know. One day you might just be immortal almost. You know? It might just be like something like, you know, like not, you won't die by natural causes. There'll be like, you know, you got hit by a car or something. You got shot or something like that.
None of the natural causes.
None of the natural causes. They'll just go, I reckon. Yeah, definitely.
Well, not if people keep taking these fucking injections and all this crazy shit.
That shit's
you know, I mentioned about like this low bar that they're set. I don't know if you notice it as well, but when people say it to me, it registers, and I'm like, what the fuck? People say things like, you're a beast, because I run a half marathon, for example, and I don't think that's crazy. That is that crazy. Yeah, I just think the bar's too low. So if you look around in society and people are doing like a couch to 5K and again, awesome, fucking do your thing. Yeah, get out and do it. But there's like a prep in people. It's like, oh, I need to prepare for this 5K. No, you fucking don't. You can pretty much 90% of fucking people could just get up and do it. Yeah, you could. Yeah. Now I'm not saying you should, but you could. And so what would happen? And then when they do a 5K, they celebrate the 5K, and then they're back at the couch again. It just doesn't make no sense to me. If you look around though, the bar is just extremely low. So it's not that I am a beast or you're a fucking beast or we're both animals or we're savages. It's just that most people aren't. Yeah. Most people have set the bar so low for themselves that we just look that way. Yeah. But in reality, you've met them. I've met them. You know, I know some savages. Yeah. Some proper on the fucking ball savages across all areas of their life, just absolutely killing it, savages. And that's who I look at, and I'm like, fucking hell, you know, they're really doing it.
Exactly. Like the David Goggins and those kind of people. Like I love people like that.
I do, but however, I saw I don't know if you saw. Do you know Andy Elliott?
Yes.
Andy Elliott, the
Yeah.
bald.
What do you think of him?
Oh, bro, I was like kind of into some of his shit,
Yeah.
before. But did you see the shit with his kids where he took them on stage?
Nah, I didn't see
Man,
that
it's
one.
just fucking crazy. So there was a big thing on social media about it as well. He had his daughters. One of them's like 9, the other one's 11 or 12, on stage at one of his events, the event that David Goggins was at, and he's like, talking about how before they went on holiday, he was saying to his daughters, like, if you can get abs, then something is a bit of like, if you can get abs before you go away, then you can have whatever it was that was the reward for doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
And they went ahead and they did it. And he brought them up on stage and he got them to lift up their tops on stage at an event with loads of random fucking strangers and people that had bought tickets to his event. And to literally look at his daughters and parade and clap that they had got abs. And it was just really weird. He was like, don't be shy, pull up your top and show them. And when I saw it, the video, I was like, that's fucking is weird, mate. I don't think I can fucking do that to my kids. And it would be weird for me to be in the audience and see it. I'd be like, what the fuck is happening? Why is he doing this?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Since seeing that video, I'm not sure. But David Goggins was at the event.
Do you think there's an element of like...
That was weird, man.
Not for views, but...
Bro.
For clout, almost. Like, to create his brand and stuff, to boost it even more.
But to use your kids to do it in that way,
extreme.
it was fucking weird. When we're off air, I'll send you the video so you can see it, and you'll see, man, I think he's probably had to limit the fucking comments on the post because it went wild, bro. People were just like, what are you doing? That's a weird thing to do.
There's a thing of like, you shouldn't be using your kids for content.
Strange.
You can say it. He could have said that. He didn't have to have his kids on the actual stage. He
And pull up their tops.
Yeah, he could have just said, "Oh, like my kid's done this," and then they actually did it. We didn't have to actually bring them on stage. I think that's
shit's crazy, bro.
I mean, I wouldn't do that, but like, I think in this world, it's like content is king. Right?
Again, we are where we are, mate, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But bro, I could I could jam with you for forever and a day, mate.
Yeah, man.
It'd be easy to do. Long time that we've wanted to get this done. I'm glad we did. Yeah,
maybe the next one we could do it in the gym.
We could.
It's changed hands now. So there's different ownership. So things will be different now.
I don't always like to tell people, like where can people find you and your shit. But on this occasion, I am because I fucking fully do support your brand. And I see what that can have in terms of impact in the world, man. So feel free to plug it, mate. Tell people where they can find the natural club. Come and get hooked up.
Most of my, I think all of my accounts are like TNC Fitness now. It may change again because I'm always like, not rebranding, but just trying to tweak things, make things better. I'm kind of leaning towards the No Gym, No Life as just the main thing.
100%.
You know what I mean? As I feel like it's just evolved now.
100%.
And it hits, like you say, you feel it. 100%. When you say that, you're like, it's more,
Yeah.
Whereas TNC Fit is the natural club. It still has a thing, but it doesn't hold that same.
It's not the same.
It doesn't hold that same weight.
Yeah.
But at the moment, all my social media is all TNC Fitness. You type that in, you'll see me. Yeah. You see me there lifting some heavy weights.
Well, we're going to get this out as well on YouTube for the first time ever, thanks to the fucking cameraman.
Brother, boy. YouTube.
Yes.
YouTube.
I've been wanting to do that for the longest time, man.
I love YouTube.
Said before,
making it happen, man.
I love YouTube. So man. That is where I really found a lot of motivation. It's where I saw the Rich Pianos and the Mike Rashids and the CT Fletchers all on YouTube.
God, CT
So I've
Fletcher,
always
now
wanted
you're
to
taking me back,
I
mate.
always wanted to make that YouTube content. That's where I was like, I want to do it like them guys. Those guys are just,
You remind me of CT Fletcher. I don't know why.
He's the man. Seen his son? His son's crazy strong.
Animal, man.
Crazy strong guy.
Fucking
man.
animal. Let's try and do this again though sometime. I always do like to throw an invite back out to my guests at some point, 6-9 months down the line or whatever. Maybe we can do another podcast. I'm still in the phase of really trying to figure it out as well with FitStory TV. Like I know what the core idea is here and what it is that this is. But recently, with the shift toward jiu-jitsu beyond the mats, I'm looking at that as being more of a special addition to the overall podcast.
Okay,
So even I'm playing around with some things. You know, this is what we were saying earlier. It's like it ain't a straight fucking line, and you know, getting where you want to go is never that simple. It requires the tweaking, the adjustments. It's the ups, it's the downs. It's how it all comes together.
It's like that meme where it's like how people think success goes. It's like a straight line, and then underneath it's like how it really goes, and it's like that is accurate.
It's very accurate.
Very accurate. That is literally how my life and everyone else that I know that's successful.
Yeah, and maybe that's why we are still where we are and still doing the thing, because we just accept it.
Yeah.
Whereas we're in surrender into it. Like, fucking, it is going to be a bit crazy sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Whereas some people might not have that frame. They might think like, this has to go this way, and when it doesn't, they're falling off.
That is it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But we have them. Like, I have them feels, them thoughts, and that, and you get down, but you just have to keep going. It's just, it sounds very like, you know, like cliche, and you know, like, oh, you keep going, but actually, that's the only way you're gonna make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just have to keep going. You can't stop. You just have to keep on keeping on, keep finding a way to get to where you're trying to go. You know.
Well, bro, let's try and catch up on the mat soon. It's been a fucking pleasure to see you, bro, as always.
Yes, my bro.
Go give Sammy a follow, and look out for the next episode of FitStory TV. We are out.